I think we're about to get started. So in case no one's told you, you're in the room for software marketing, sort of the basics of software marketing. And what I'm going to do is basically go through a presentation where I look at, I don't go too in depth at anything, but I really try to give you an overview of the different things that we're doing with software marketing, and really honestly talk about what's working for us, what's not working for us, so that you get an idea of where those things are. And I'll also tell some stories about like friends I have who've made other things work where I've not been successful, because just because we happen to do it one way doesn't mean that's the only way to do it. And I have seen people do things and you're just like, how did they do that? It really is amazing. Okay, before I start, I want to give you a quick overview on who I am, okay? Because I did run a micro ISV, a small company called Ask Sam, for about 10 years. And it was, I guess we did between like $1 to $2 million in business when we were doing this stuff. It was a hell of a lot of fun. And eventually got lured to the dark side. I worked for a company called AvenQuest for the last 7 years. And AvenQuest, you might not have heard of it. It's actually a really big software company. We sell about, it's over $100 million worth of software a year. So it is significant. We sell our own products, other people's products. Altogether, I'd say we probably have about 1,500 products in our catalog. Okay? So what this has done, it seriously is like a kid in a candy shop. Because I spent over 10 years trying to sell one product or a couple products that we made, right? And it was really hard. Now, I always thought it was really hard because I was an inept marketer. And then I found out when you give me 1,500 products, it's like, holy crap, when you get the right products, it's really easy to sell stuff. And then as you start, because public companies, it's never enough to run like a really nice business. Oh, this is wonderful, you're making money, it's, you have to grow every single year. So you do the easy stuff first, and then you have to start doing hard things, and then you keep trying to make new products successful, you keep trying to find new ways to sell the existing products, and in doing that, even someone with limited mental capacity like me can actually learn things, which makes it sort of enjoyable. And so what I wanted to do today is really go through and talk about some of the things we're doing, okay? Some of the stuff that's working, but really give you, there's sort of a framework I have when I look at products, because we have to, with 1,500 things, the first thing we did that we changed when I took over this web marketing division with a friend of mine in Paris, we run, I guess what we're running now is probably out of the 100 million, something like 20 to 25 million is in our online division, okay? And when we took it over, there were some problems, and the main problem was a lack of focus. And it's something that when you come from a micro ISV, where you only have one product, it's like you think all day, all night about your product. When you're at one of these companies that has a catalog of products, the problem is you're never really thinking that in depth. You don't even know the names of the entire product line that you have. So you tend to lose focus. And what we really did is we went back, and I think it's some ridiculous thing, like 15 products are probably, I think the exact number is 78.6% of our revenue or something like that we're doing online. But we really focused on a core portfolio of products. We're trying to find new ones that we can move up into that level. We're trying to increase overall sales of the catalog. But in doing this, it's like really a candy store because there's a lot of data that I get. All right, I divided this in 3 parts because I think when you're thinking about your products, it's really funny. Most people just want to know, how do I sell? But the first part, and this is something I don't think I did enough in my company when I was doing it, it's sort of know your audience, okay? The second one is then when you know who you're selling to, you create a sales strategy, and then you just go and execute on it. And a lot of times we're so focused on number 3, we sort of forget the other 2, and it's why we don't get the third one right. And I made that mistake big time, okay? Like big time. This was probably the stupidest thing I did, forgot about 1 and 2. All right, this is really funny because I talk to a lot of software developers. They want me to sell their products, and I'll be like, well, who are you selling to? And this is a real answer I got in an email. It's like, everyone needs my product. And I'm like, wow, and you're doing like 300,000 in revenue a year. thing is, just from hearing that number, I know not everyone's buying your product, okay? And the target audience really makes a huge difference. You know, and when you think of it, everyone needs my product. It's like part of it is, are you selling to consumers or are you selling to businesses? Are you selling to small businesses or enterprises? Demographic info, we don't even think about that. And this is like one of the big things you can learn that can help you, because before there was like this wonderful thing called search engine, you know, PPC, and you do search advertising. It's like what people did and what they still do on television, newspapers, is basically they advertise by demographic. Okay, that was what was always done. It's like they advertised Tide laundry detergent during soap operas, and then, you know, during sports things, it's Budweiser beer. Duh. With software, I never thought about it like that. You know, I didn't, my users, are they male, are they female, are they, you know, I had no idea. But, you know, and all of this really depends, it depends on your software, but what's really interesting is you can find out by things like Alexa and there are other things that analyze your website, your web stats. They'll actually give you stuff and tell you, oh, you know, so and so many people come into your site or over this age compared to the overall. They give you this stuff, and you can figure out then by looking at your site, looking at competitors. That's something we'll talk about later. You can sort of figure out who's buying this type of product, and it does make your life easier, because then you can think, okay, I can target my advertising, my marketing more toward this type of person. Now, obviously, if you have stuff that's more niche, you know, it's some of the stuff we're selling would be things like registry cleaners, and you're like, okay, they go to one set of people. Other times you have things like, there's a company I know in Germany, Soft Expansion, they do things for like what will your hair look like. You can sort of put different hair on you. That's obviously a demographic, more, you know, a female demographic, okay? Maybe younger, I'm not totally sure. I haven't really pushed that one. But you then have also the vertical stuff where you may be selling to lawyers, you may be selling some of the utilities that go out there. They're really targeted to sysadmins. Now, this stuff, your target audience, okay? I just wanted to give you a few examples. Like utility products, what we've seen in that, utility products are predominantly a male audience, okay? I don't know why, it's male. Scrapbooking, slideshow, greeting cards, obviously it's female, okay? The music download, we have some DJ software, all of that is definitely a younger demographic. The other things, it's funny because a lot of the software stuff we're seeing in the other categories, I can tend to a lower, basically younger demographics like free stuff, okay? So if I want to get the younger ones, basically I have to put free stuff up there. Most of our sales of, let's say, utility or scrapbooking, they'll trend tightly older, slightly older. I can't speak English, it's difficult. Casual games, and I'm sure some of you in here would know better than me, but what we've seen from our casual game stuff, it tends to be more female, is where we're selling it. Anything with a gun is male. It's really easy. And oh, by the way, and if you mix that up, if you like send an email where you send it out to your whole list and you don't separate and segment your list, it's like, oh geez, that product didn't do well. If I segment my list and it's like, okay, we want to go after the younger male target here, we have a game with a gun, it's like, oh my god, this email did really well. It's really basic stuff, but I never thought about it when I had my company. We were just, we'll sell to anyone, anytime, anywhere. It's bad. And then, of course, if you have very specific vertical stuff, you're looking at things like engineers, lawyers, all that type of thing to try and target them. Now, this is really important because women don't like Hooters. And if you think about their whole marketing strategy at Hooters, they do not advertise during Oprah. It's a female demographic, okay? They put their logo on race cars because men watch it, okay? And it's everything about advertising. By the way, that was my son's 4th birthday. And 1 through 4, I took him to Hooters for his birthday. And the reason I know women don't like Hooters is my wife told me I'm not allowed to take him to Hooters for his birthday anymore. And I'm like, why not? Hooters has like a child's menu and they give him crayons and it's really nice. My whole rugby team comes and we have a great time. And he's the only kid and all the rugby dudes were bringing him presents. He loved it. Women don't like Hooters. Okay. So, everything, and this is sort of the important part here, everything around your product and marketing needs to be done with the target user in mind. Now, ideally, if I were doing everything in a perfect world, I'd sort of, when I'm making a product, I'd really think before I start programming it about who the demographic is for the product. Because one of the things we forget is that a lot of the things we do in product design, it really depends upon the target market. So for example, you can take something that, optimization software for your computer. Okay? We have two different products. One called Fix-It, which is a really good product. It has a lot of great technology in it. Really, some amazing stuff. My mom would not like it because it's way too hard. We have another one called PC Speed Maximizer that basically has a button that says do this, and it just cleans the thing. Okay? Two really different demographics. Okay? One is more for, like, I call it a power user, people who really, sort of want to optimize their computer more. The other one just sells better to, I don't want to say stupid people, but people who don't really give a crap about computer and want to press one button. Okay? So that's really important. And when you're doing it, the whole terminology you use in a product, like, we had a presentation from Rhinosoft yesterday. They have FTP software. My mom doesn't know what FTP is, right? He's not trying to sell to my mom, okay? If you need FTP, if there's file transfer, like the way Dropbox just puts files places or something, they don't really talk about it in technical terms. It doesn't matter what you're using from the tech side. And sometimes we think, I had a free-form database and I'd be talking about all this crap, and it was like, oh my God, I'm trying to sell this to librarians and journalists, and I'm using database terminology, and it's amazing now to look back and realize how stupid I was. Product pricing is another thing, because depending on the demographic you're going after, sometimes, and we'll talk about that later too, because there's this whole thing, oh, you gotta make it cheap. I've been really successful because I basically started selling stuff more expensive. So if you get the right people, you target the right ones, they don't mind paying more, okay? You can compete against free, you can do all this stuff. You just target the right people and you give them the right product and they're gonna do it. So you have to know who you're targeting. And by the way, older people have a little more money, okay? 16-year-olds, if you're targeting them, they don't have credit cards, okay? So you really have to think differently depending on what the target market is for your product. Oh, and another thing you can do is you can have different versions of your product that target different demographics. And if you think about it this way, you may have a different set of documentation, features, terminology for the marketing and even in the product, for one, and a different price point, and another that's targeted to a different group. That works. Marketing materials, obviously. If you know, the Hooters website, they're coming after me, okay? It's not like they're trying to get my wife to come to the website and do anything. But the images on the website, I mean, it really is true. We see on, and this I learned a lot from our retail guys, when they make boxes, they really need to know the demographic, because in the store, someone goes in, and on the photo, if it's photo editing software that is a female demographic, the colors they use, the pictures they use, it was all more woman-friendly, okay? They wouldn't have the woman in the low-cut blouse that we might use for a male demographic. They'd have something, the smiling, nice woman on the thing, rather than the other one. It's very different stuff, but your whole marketing and everything you're doing there really depends on the demographic. The other thing, it really has to do with language. If you're targeting a tech audience, you can talk tech. In fact, it's even important that you do. If you're targeting consumers that don't know as much, you can't do that. When they talk the whole feature benefit thing, you need to translate the features into benefits, and you need to translate them into plain English. Optimize your registry. We make your computer faster. We remove errors from your computer when it does this. It's just translating the stuff because my mom doesn't know what the registry is. Where you advertise and how you advertise, we'll talk about that a little later, but that's very dependent on who the audience is. All right, then, determine a sales strategy. Build it and they will come. This is one I used to use, okay? Just speaking from experience, it really wasn't all that effective. I think the first thing is to look at the competition. And it's so great. The more I've done it and seen how things sell, it's like I really look at the competition. And it's not, because we have so many products, it's sort of like if I want to focus on a specific market, if I say there's a real opportunity here, I start looking at it, maybe because I want to find a certain product and I want to start selling it, maybe because I want to look at what's there, talk to one of my partners who has a product and say, you know what, I know how we can kick these guys' butt, all right? So I start looking. Looking at the competition is not cheating, okay? This is not like a test where you're staring at someone else's paper. This is such an important part of what you do. You can look at, there are all these tools out there where you can look at things. You know, Alexa and stuff like that will show you how much traffic, it'll tell you what keywords, there's other things for SEO that'll tell you what keywords they rank on. Stuff like Keyword Spy actually will show you their entire PPC campaigns, and that stuff it's scary how accurate that is. So you can sort of see what they're doing, and it really gives you, it'll tell you how much, I don't think the bid stuff is entirely accurate on it, but it'll tell you how much they're paying and you know what words they're bidding on, which ones are bringing the most traffic. I mean, my God, this is like everything you need right there. I always, when I'm doing this, if I'm really serious about it, you know, I download their trial, I install it, I purchase their product, get on their email list. You know, the ones that are my main competitors, it's like I want to know exactly what they're doing and how they're selling. And the more experience you have in marketing, as you watch what they do, you're going to see, wow, this is a really great idea. And then you'll see other stuff and go, oh my God, this is so stupid. They're really messing up here. I can do this better. I always compare their features, you know, which is a big thing. Study their pricing model. And when I have all that stuff together, then it's like, well, how am I going to compete with these guys? Okay? I think there's some real misconceptions about competition. And before I even go to the list there, like one of the things is, do you guys remember AOL? You know, it's like AOL was really crappy, okay? CompuServe, there was a bunch of things that were better than AOL. And it's like, if you did a feature comparison and stuff, you would have said, oh, CompuServe offers a whole lot more. You could, you know, there were all these different things. And it's like, why did everyone in the world use AOL? Why did my mom use AOL? I think she was like mom@AOL.com. It's like, because AOL sent everyone in America that stupid CD like 40 times. Yeah. You know, you were using them as drink coasters, they were just everywhere. Okay? They're products, so we all think, because we're, you know, come from that background, we want to make good products. I actually always wanted to make good products, you know? We always think, oh, it's really important to have a feature, really important. You can have a crappy product, and if you get it in front of people and it solves their problem, even if it isn't as good as someone else, you're going to make the sale. Okay? For me, that was one of the major revelations. Man, ich weiß nicht, mit meinem Englisch, es geht nicht. You know what, I wish I could use the excuse, oh my God, I drank so much last night, I can't talk. No, I was in bed by 11 o'clock, I think I had 2 drinks. This is like, I don't know what it is. It's my native language, you can't do it. But when you look at these, there's so many things that we always think, oh, my product needs to be cheaper so that people buy it. Now, I'm selling stuff more expensive because I can afford to advertise more. There's a free product, I can't compete. All right, this is a great story, and I wish I could tell you all the details, but it's really secret because he swore me to secrecy. I had a friend who basically, he was looking at the market, he saw this free product that was really popular, and he's like, wow, this is huge. So he built a competitor to the free product that basically was no better than the free product. It was just a very simple thing he put together. And he turned that into, he was doing tens of millions in revenue with this thing. And it was really, we were talking about this because I'm like, but there were so many of these free competitors. He goes, yeah, but none of the free competitors could afford to advertise. He was like, I'm just advertising out the wazoo, and people were buying it. And I really think that, you know, I was always so scared, you know, oh my God, this is free, look at download.com, all the popular things are free. My mom doesn't even know what download.com is, okay? You know, she uses, I can't remember what it's called, probably Google or something like that. It's a weird search engine I've never heard of. She just goes up there. Actually, no, she doesn't. I'm sure she has some stupid toolbar installed, or her ISP shoots her over to Yahoo or something like this. She just types in what she's looking for and, you know, clicks on whatever's there, and it's like, oh yeah, this looks like it'll do. I mean, it really is amazing how that works. And again, this very much is dependent on demographics, because younger kids have a completely different set of behavior patterns, and you have to catch them differently. I need to match their features, again, totally false. You know, you need to solve a certain problem. You know, if you do what you do and you can get in front of the people, they'll buy your product. More features are better. I've actually found the opposite in many products. Again, depending on the demographic. I've taken products and I've hidden features, like just have a little hyperlink somewhere that just says advanced. And we'll do a lot of split testing to see the conversion rates on trial versions and stuff. I did things like that, and you just see the conversion rate shoot up, okay? And this is one of my things, what product's better? I had a great argument with the guy who headed the R&D part of AvenQuest who made products. So your product is shit. And it's like, no, my product is not shit. Your product is. It's like, no. It's like, well, we have different definitions. My definition of a good product is one that people download and they buy a lot. And you know, it's interesting when you look at products. I had some that I'm like, this is a great product. And when they download the trial, I have something horrible, like 2 out of 1,000 people who buy. And then I could get another product and I'm getting 4 out of 100 people to buy. And it was just a much simpler product. It didn't have half the features, but people didn't need 80% of the features. It had everything they needed. So I think we have to get out of this mentality. It's really about, are you solving the problem for your demographic? If your demographic is a highly technical one and you're going on that, I can do a lot more, you're going to need the more features. If you're going for just a very, you know, the basic user, you don't. Yeah, I love this. There are too many competitors. This is so funny. Do you guys know there's a show called the Cebit computer show in Germany. It's like the biggest one in the world. And this thing's huge. It's like 36 halls or something. And I'm walking around the security hall one year. And I just, you know, there are all these, you have McAfee, you have Symantec, you have G-Data is a German one, you have AVG, all these big guys. And they make money, man. The security guys, they make tons of money. So I'm looking, there's a small booth. And it says, the #1 antivirus in Kuwait. All right, and I just start laughing because I find humor in most things in life. And I'm just like, I start laughing. But then when you think about it, security is one of the biggest markets out there. That guy with the #1 security product in Kuwait probably was doing more than I ever did with my ASM database, trying to sell it all over the world for years. So I think there's this thing, there are too many competitors. Well, if you have a sales strategy where you say, you know what? You know, I'm going to kick their butt, but this is how I'm going to do it. You can actually do quite well at that. I think I was the #1 database in Tonga. Unfortunately, it didn't work, and that's probably only because they put up a license key to crack the thing. But we had a hell of a lot of downloads from Tonga. I can't compete with the big guys. I mean, the dinosaur presentation yesterday was really interesting, and the truth is, you know, I'm with a big software company, and they're little guys who are very focused that compete successfully with us every day. I mean, if you know your area, if you know your niche, you can. Now, I think one of the things you have to be careful of there is Microsoft is not going to let someone compete with it successfully in Office. But what's that little note-taking app they have? OneNote, yeah, thank you. Thank you. OneNote. It's like they don't care about OneNote. They get it out there and all this. And, oh my God, the one with the elephant. And Evernote, thank you. The other thing about getting old, did I tell you about Kuwait? Basically, you know, Evernote's really kicking their butt, okay? Because it's an area that wasn't crucial or central to Microsoft. And if you're working on something, you see, yeah, a big company has a product, especially if you know this is not one of their core areas, it's like you can compete. You can really kick their butt. And then you're like, you know, you're doing everything to grab those users because they sort of identified it. So, and that presentation yesterday was really good, talking about how to do it. So really, if you have a strategy of what you want to do and who you're trying to target, you know, you can go out and do it. There's something really important, and this is something like when I make a sales strategy, it's what's the best way to sell your product, to try or buy, the trial or just buy. This is so important, and I realize it's blasphemy to say this. You know, was the shareware industry. We invented basically the trial version. Hey, there are times, I'm telling you, there are times the trial version can kill a sale. Okay, absolutely kill it, and a lot depends on what method you're using for marketing. You know, Nico, you do email marketing, you do special offers. You want people to just go, oh my God, this is a great price, it's a cool product, click buy. And if he pushed a trial saying, try this, it's going to kill your sales. It's the same with mine on the email side. You just want them to buy. You can add a link somewhere, hidden, white on white, no. You know, but you have the big button that says buy, you have a small little link that says try. Okay, but this isn't only like in email marketing like that. It can also be in PPC and other things. And I see so many people getting it wrong. And the people who are the best marketers, you know when you're driving someone through a specific marketing message, you know if you want them to buy the product right then, or if you want them to try the product. And and we do this in my company, and it drives me absolutely nuts. Whenever we take someone to a page that has 2 buttons, buy, try, I'm just like, you don't know what you're doing. You know, you have to know the purpose. There's a great book, they mentioned it yesterday, Don't Make Me Think. And you know what they're saying is anytime the user has to make a decision, I use it in design of products and also in design of web pages and sales strategies. Every time a user has to think about something, what to press, it kills, you know, a little bit of your sales are going away. And so if you just have one big button, what you should know what you want them to do, you lead them through the whole process, and you can have other options sort of hidden a little bit. But the main one, they shouldn't have to think. It should be obvious what you want them to do. And as a marketer, you should know that. You know, I do a lot of optimization if we're selling by trial, and we do that in a lot of products. I have examples on the next screen. I do a lot of optimization of the trials. And some of this is what type of trial. It's really funny. A lot of times people would ask me, what works better, a 14-day trial or a 30-day trial? And I just laugh. It's like, no, you don't understand. The better question is, should I be going right for the sale, or should I be using a trial? If I'm using a trial, should it be a full feature trial, or should it be the kind of thing that just is a very limited feature in doing it? There's the difference between 14 and 30-day hardly makes a difference. The difference between a certain like scan-only trial or going for a buy and using a trial is enormous, okay? And again, my software company, oh man, you bet, I'm playing with all that. I'm going 14-day trials, I'm going 30-day trials, 60-day trials. Yeah, it was like, I never thought about it that way. And in the trial versions, there's some really interesting stuff. Download size definitely has a big effect. If you do have a very large download, it can often help to use like what they call sub-installer, where you have a smaller, something that'll download very quickly that's almost like a download manager, and will then automatically start the download of your software. We found that would increase completed downloads and our conversion rate on stuff. So download's very important. It really is, it's dependent, it's really dependent on the stuff. My wife actually, she has a company called Software That Sells, and she works with some companies and helps them design trial versions and to figure out what thing works best and what doesn't, and that type of thing. Okay, here's some of the things that I've seen, all right? Utilities, full-featured trials hurt sales, okay? Most of the time, when people are looking for a registry product, a anti-spyware, an anti-malware, data recovery, they have a problem. They're trying to fix it. If you do a full-featured 30-day trial, you fix their problem, they're like, wonderful. You never get the money. Okay? It's just the way it works. And if you look, most of the products out there in optimization and all of that, what they'll do is they'll do a scan. They'll show you this is what we can fix on your computer. If you want to fix it, you need to pay the money. It works really just. This is where I saw stuff that was the difference between selling 2 and 1,000 and selling 4 out of 100. Data-centric applications. Okay, this is where trial versions can work. This is often where a 30-day trial would be better than a 14-day trial, where you're trying to get them addicted to your product. And things where they have to get more data into the product, if they're using it more, if they're entering their stuff, whether it's bookkeeping, database, creating a website, if you have software like that and they start using it and they get stuff in, it's almost like the more they have invested and the more that they get in, your chances of closing the deal are slightly higher. You still have to check whether the trial works better than a buy now, 100% money back guarantee, no questions asked. But if you do a trial, it tends on those to be, if it's limited, they won't use it. What I found is if it's limited, you don't get as much use on the trial. One of the tactics that we use on products, well, no, we don't. I did it, ask Sam. We don't do much with trials on these. But one of the things that really works better here is if you're pushing this type of product, you want to have like email scenarios. You want to try and keep the user engaged in using it and communicate with them over the sale period. Things like, hey, were you able to do this? Here's some tips on how to, better create your website. Here are some tips on this. Just to remind them that they have it, just to keep them moving forward on that. At the bottom, crappy or complex products, all right? These things, and it's really funny because there's some people out there that sell these watch TV on your PC applications, okay? I sold them for a while until I finally installed one and saw how absolutely horrible it was, and then I just, it was like, I don't want to sell this. If you did a trial version of that, you'd make no sales because people are expecting, the sales promises you're going to watch TV on your PC, and when you install the thing, you find that there are like all these channels, but basically you end up watching ping pong from China or C-SPAN. Those are basically your choices. Really bad. Trial version would kill it. Okay? So products like that, you can't use a trial. Home design is the one I have on the bottom that you can't read. We sell a lot of home design software. Okay? People have this idea. It's like, I want to remodel my kitchen. I want to do the landscape in the garden. I want to do this. I want to do that. Well, they have the idea. A lot of them never get around to really doing it. Okay? If you do a trial version, you won't make the sales. And also, the software doing it, the thought of doing it is much more appealing than the actual doing it. Okay? So on a product like that, again, what we found is a trial version would kill the sales. Go for the buy, give them the complete money back guarantee. It's like most of them will never, never really open the box or install or whatever. It's just life. Or maybe they do, 8 months down the road. But very important, you definitely need to figure that one out because that's where you can make a big mistake and that affects everything you do with marketing. Need versus want. In the first talk yesterday, this is very similar, but I'm a very simple guy. So he had 4 different steps in his model, and that's too many for me because I get confused. But one of the things I saw is there are things you need and there are things you want, okay? And with software, I definitely see that. Now, some things fit in both categories. You can, need and want something. But think of it this way, need, data recovery. Oh crap, I just deleted my PowerPoint for tomorrow. All right? PPC, SEO, very effective because I'm going to type into the Google monster, oh crap, I deleted my PPC for tomorrow. And it's going to come up with a bunch of, ads, and it's going to come up with some how to get your PowerPoint back and all that stuff. And I'm going to click, and I'm going to go, oh God, I need this back, and they're going to bring me into a sale. Okay? It's a need. Those are the easiest type of sales. When he was talking yesterday, it was like, the ones that checked all the boxes. Okay? It was really the type of thing where you just go, that's a need. It's classic need. All right? These types of products can be less effective on daily deals, email, that type of stuff. You know, if you have a PowerPoint recovery product and Nico runs it on a special, if you've never deleted and lost a PowerPoint, you're just like, why the heck would I buy this product? Okay, so of marketing these, we definitely see that SEO, PPC, these are the best ways to go with it. Okay, want. Products you want. I put game up there, but there's so much stuff. A lot of the things I sell in the photo category, it's so many times. Home design is another one. Oh, I need home design. No, you don't really need home design. You just want to do home design. It's very easy to mix these things up. But the truth is that the want things, you may be able to find some PPC, and you may get some SEO on it. It's possible. We definitely have some SEO on the home design. We do some PPC on it. It doesn't work quite as well as it does on a need product. Need products work really great with that. Want products, if you have something like that, they can work really well via email. They can work really well via banner advertising. Because what happens is you need to get that idea in front of the right people. And this is why the demographic thing I talked about before was really important. Because if you have a want product, this is where you can be really frustrated. It's like, oh man, I don't know how to sell it. No one's, because there are times that you see there's virtually no search traffic for certain things. We have a product that sells really well for us it's basically something that will zoom in really well on photos. You can do a huge zooming on it. It keeps the resolution there, and product sells really well. But people don't really search for a cool product to zoom in extensively on photos. I can't pick up product, you know, that traffic via SEO or via PPC. But when we do banners that show what it does, we have a really great graphical email. It's like that product. I think we could run it with you, or we might run it with you. Yeah, we will. Don't worry, you don't know what you're doing. So it's Roger. He does everything. You just have a cool accent. But it's very different. It's a different way of selling. And so if you have products where you go, you know what, there's not a lot of PPC traffic for it. It's like, it's more of that want type thing. What you do is if you know the demographic, if you know, oh my God, this appeals to women between the ages of, you know, 35 and 50, you can actually, I mean, this is the way magazines, everything used to work. You can actually, Facebook lets you target like that. All these different things, it's out there to target those people. And if you have the right banner that sort of shows the thing, we actually, you can make sales this way. We do it, okay? But it's a different way of thinking than what we normally do of, I'm just going to go on Google and bid on a bunch of keywords. Because instead what you're doing is you're saying, what type of people would like this? How can I get the message in front of them? All right? Some products are need and want. I mean, coming back to like utilities, it's like if you're getting an error on your computer, they go back to optimization software and they'll search for it. But the other thing is, if you're just going around the internet places, you can say to people, do you want a faster computer? And the answer is almost yes, you know, for everyone. And they click, and you know, so you can sell it both as a need and a want. I found it, like when I look, because I look at a lot of products, this metric was really useful for me. I'm gonna take a look at the 4 steps he had there and see if I can fit it into what we do with a whole bunch of products and how that would work. But this was a very simple way for me to sort of figure out what marketing strategies I wanted to use for the different products. Do people need it or do people want it? And from there we sort of figured out what we wanted to do. Sales model is really important. You know, are you going to sell your software traditionally via, you know, just a direct sale or a subscription, or are you going to use some kind of free or freemium model? And you know, it's like I said before, kids, if you're going after a younger market, it almost has to be free. It's really hard for them to get the credit card and stuff. What you can do is get them into something, and then if they really want to do stuff, they'll go get their parents to do it. But having to buy up front can be the ultimate hurdle for them to get over. Freemium also gives you often a great way of getting traffic at a very cheap price. You start getting it out there, you figure out what you're going to upsell to, maybe you're using toolbars to monetize, other offers, building an email list. There are things you can do with free products to sort of monetize, okay? But definitely something you need to know when you're going into it. what am I going to do? How am I going to get my product out there? This has become even more important with the app stores. We're selling apps, and what we found is we do have some paid apps, but our success and the money is really coming from sort of a freemium model. And it really, from the stats we saw yesterday and things in some of the presentations, that's what's happening with apps. Is basically you can put advertising in it, you can have in-app upsells, they work really well, but again, we're just not having success. And we have some branded stuff. Berlitz Language Learning, I think we sell in the App Store, and I think we're one of the top in that type of category for paid apps. But the money it's not as good as you'd hope, you know. And we definitely see more opportunity using freemium in mobile space, in the apps, in the iPod apps. All right, here's the good news. Marketing material, what you really need, it's not that overwhelming, okay? You need to have a website, most of you do. Landing pages are really important. Again, one of the signs, one of the things when I look at a company I want to compete against, one of the signs they don't know what they're doing is if they're doing advertising and taking people back to the homepage of their website. The homepage has too many links, it's not focused, it tends to kill conversion. We find much more effective, we do landing pages, okay? And if we're doing an ad that talks about a specific, specific part, we'll match the language of the ad to the landing page. Sometimes we use dynamically generated pages to do that. It all helps the conversion. But what you really want to do when you bring them to that page is not have a whole bunch of, again, it depends a lot on the product, but you want to keep them very focused. You should know what they want to do. Will a video help or hurt conversion? Do they need more information to do it? Do you just want them to download a trial? Do you want them to buy the product? I mean, there are definitely parts there. This is really important. I'll show some examples of pages, okay? But website, landing pages, it's good to do a press release. They're really easy. You can get them written by someone, or you can just write them. You just want them to be sort of boring. But you can't use the marketing stuff. This is a revolutionary new product that I used to give whole talks on this. They'll look at that and they say, we can't say this is a revolutionary new product. It's more like, we have just released a product that allows you to do. It's really sort of boring. But it'll get you a lot of backlinks and it gets you started and we'll get you some traffic. So I do recommend doing that. You can pay someone to do it. There are all sorts of online places to distribute them. It's not that expensive. It's really worthwhile. You need screenshots of your product, especially if you're putting them, people like to see that on your website, but also when you put them on download sites and other places, they want screenshots. A box shot is often something people ask for even if you don't have a box. It just makes it look more real. So if you're marketing with partners, that's something you probably want to put together too. And then if you're going to do banner ads, you'll need those. I'm just trying to think, there's not a lot more. I mean, we do email stuff too. We email creative. But that's basically it. It's not a huge, oh my God, this is going to take me years to get together. All right, sort of once you basically decide how you're selling, what type of trial, all those things, it's then time to sell. And the main ways companies sell and the main ways we sell, I'd say for us, PPC is probably over 50% of our sales. We spend a lot of money, okay? Other advertising, and this is a deficiency that I have right now. I've not been successful. We've done some stuff with TV and radio. We're not doing anything in print anymore that I know of. I know at times we did the Delta, what is that, Sky, whatever thing. Oh God, I forgot. We have a time limit, don't we? 12 minutes, thank God. Okay, but we were never, I've not had huge success in that area. Other companies have. You'll see these guys advertising on TV, finally fast, this and that, they're pushing their stuff. Email. So for us, the two big ones are PPC and email. People say that email email doesn't work. We're doing, I don't know, over $10 million a year in email. SEO can work really well, and we do a lot with affiliates and resellers as well. Now, it's funny because no one size fits all. It really depends a lot on your product, but it also can depend on what your specialty is and what things you're best at. For PPC, you know, we've already covered it, but basically, you got to know, if you want people to try or buy, definitely have a landing page that you're sending them to. When you're paying for traffic, you want to try and get as much money as you can. One of the things that really works well for people is when they make the decision to buy, you can have a standard and a pro version. You can have other little upsells there. When they make the buy decision, they'll give you more money, a lot of them. Like sometimes we're seeing rates, you know, 70, 75% of the people would take a pro version over a standard version. And we only offer that after they make the buy decision. Because if you give it up front, that don't make me think, it can confuse the heck out. Retargeting is a great thing to do. If they come and click on your ad once, a lot of people are like, oh, I don't want to pay for them twice. But retargeting, have you ever seen the way the internet just follows you around and you have all this stuff? Yeah, it's really bizarre. And you know, don't ever, oh my God. I made the mistake. The target, I got this on Pandora, I guess. They can tell that I'm older, even though I don't put it in. I don't know why, but they know. And they put in this like over 50 dating site. So I start laughing, all right? First, I like, you know, I cut it out, I send it to my office, and I was like, oh my God, I know my days are numbered, look at this. And then I click on it, and go to the site, and I was like taking out some pictures and saying, I think this one would be good, this. Well, now wherever I go, man, it's like, oh, they're following me, man. My wife comes to use my computer and all the retargeting is this stupid dating site. It's really bad. So I need to clean my cookies. But retargeting is very useful. We see good clickbacks with that, and we have strategies. You know, you can even do stuff like when you're retargeting, you can watch and sort of get their behavior. If they click again, you can do special offers and things and try and really grab them. It's a very good thing. We optimize every step. You know, we're looking at landing pages, we're looking at trial versions, we're looking at the cart. We sort of see where they come and we watch that funnel. And if we notice big problems in different places, we try to improve all the different pieces. You know, then there's the question here, are you going to do PPC yourself or do you want to work with an agency? And we've done both. I have people that do it and I have other things that I sort of outsource and work with people. There are people that are really good at this. And it is very complex. When you start doing it, oh my God, Google will make you bleed. It's like your initial stuff, you're like, oh, there's no way I can do this. They're asking for 80 cents a click. It's like, yeah, you have to get your quality score up, you have to do all these things. You know, we may be able to bring that down to 20 cents over, you know, 3 or 4 week period, but we're losing a lot of money at the beginning. It's a tough game, but if you make it work right, or maybe you start with a long tail things, you know, you can sort of put stuff together. But it's a pain. I wanted to show some landing pages. These are not things I did. I like this one because you see how it just says free scan, although Google sometimes will ban you if you say free scan because you have to buy the thing. But they do have the price up above it. Google likes when you say, even if it's a free scan, if you have the price. But they have the Microsoft certified to sort of give the user some confidence. It's very clean, and when you look at this page, you know, these guys know what they want you to do, don't they? And there's really only one thing on that page to click. All right, here's one that's from TV. These guys doing the Finally Fast stuff. I don't like it because the button doesn't stand out enough, okay? But if you see the as seen on TV, really powerful for TV ads. You know, they know they're in the right place and all of that. So that part's really good. But again, they're just trying to get you to scan. This is something that Google wouldn't let them do. They can do this because they're advertising on TV. Google would get mad on this category. Other categories you can do it, but they don't have the price here, and they're sort of like pretending that you don't have to buy it. All right, this one. These guys are selling, this is a want, right? And this is funny because it's, what I don't like is they have the buy now, free trial video. They're sending you, I think this is their homepage, the free upgrade. This is not a good lander. They can do better, but I don't tell them because I want to come out with a competitor to them at some point. But what's interesting, what they do is when you stay on the site, it goes from this to this, okay? And you go, oh my my God! And then you think, whoa, I sort of look worse than this. It can make me look like this. I'm going to get back on that dating site for 50-year-olds. I may go down to the 20-year-olds because I'm going to look like Brad Pitt. I want to buy it. But they do, you know, what this has done, it's taken something that's a want, not a need, right? And they're being very visual in how they present the thing. Really great example. That's what I like about this one the most. All right, email. Okay, I've heard so many times email's dead, but we do so much money via email. And we do it right. We deal with opt-in lists. We are really careful with the subscribes. We do, you know, with email, we have a big debate in our company, our CEOs, like you can't offer discounts in your email all the time. It's like you have to offer discounts in your email all the time. Don't tell them I said that, damn, they're recording it. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. The problem is, what you're doing with email marketing, it depends actually. If you're doing regular email marketing where you're just sending out offers, it's not like they have a need, okay? What you're trying to do is to just go to these people and say, here is something, and the only way that they're really going to act on it now is if you have some kind of special offer to make them buy. I mean, if you were doing your deal of the day and you didn't offer a deal, no one is going to buy. You know, it's really that simple. Now, if you're doing follow-up emails, and this is where it's different, if someone downloads your trial and you maybe ask for their email when they're doing that, then you can do really good stuff where you don't need the discount, you know they're interested, you can try and start a dialogue, try and get them engaged in your product, push the features and stuff. There you don't need to like just go, all right, half price, buy now, please, please, please. You don't need to do that. You can really push the product, you know they're interested. We do a lot of stuff with email swaps too. You know, I guess our list, we probably have a total of like 10 million or something email addresses. You know, I work with people, they'll say, hey, we have 100,000, do you want to do a swap, send our product to yours? It's like, sure. So we do a lot of that stuff, and we make a lot of money via email. We do retargeting email. Now, a lot of times we don't ask for an email right when they download a product. Sometimes we ask for an email in the registration for a product. Sometimes when they go to a product, it will take them to a cart. They might enter their email and then leave, and we'll retarget those people. So there is retargeting we're doing with email on things. And sometimes for more complex products, we do ask for the email when they download because it's a more expensive thing and we make more sales by starting that dialogue. General rule for email. This is really interesting. When we do an email to someone's list or our list or whatever, 40% of the response basically depends on the list. Okay? They're good lists and they're bad lists. If you mail anything to a good list, it'll do better than if you mail the same thing to a bad list. Isn't that obvious? 40% depends on the offer. This is like one of the most important things. And again, your talk yesterday really affected me, Nico. The thing about the 40% here is the difference between having a, save 20% and save 60% can be huge, okay? So you definitely need to, with something like this, it's a good idea to do some testing. If you're going to be mailing your product a lot, it's good to know what price point you make the most money at. And then 20%, this really depresses my email team. They make beautiful emails. 20% of the response depends on what the email looks like and what's in it. I mean, basically, I could do an email that says, buy Microsoft Office at 50% off in orange crayon, and I'd have a kick-ass response. Oh, I guess you can't use orange crayon. Never mind. And the main part of this 20% is probably the subject line. Do they open it or not? Okay. This is an example of one of the emails we use. I sort of like it. And it's really simple. Big, thing, turn your computer into the home theater. You can see there's a discount on it. They have the big buy now button. We're not trying to get them to download a trial, a 90-day money-back guarantee, a couple of words. It's really basic. The learn more, yeah, some people want to learn more, but we sort of hide that down in the corner because if you have too much info, it will kill the response. SEO, get the basics right when you're doing it. It has a lot to do about the structure of your site and your pages. You want to have a good title, the links, and things like this. Content is really the most important part. Backlinks are really important. one of the main things, don't do sleazy crap or Google will just kill you. If you're paying for links and all that there, you have to either be really careful and really good at how you do it, or you're going to get killed. I just don't recommend doing that. One of the things that I recommend is just make sure you win on your product name. There's nothing worse than when you have your product name, your website, and all of a sudden download.com or someone else is stealing all your downloads, and then you go to it's great for them. But when they go to that download page, they're going to see advertisements from other competitors and all this crap, and they may never get your product. So really, push to win for your product name. That's where press releases, social media, all of that can really help push your site to the top for your product name. Social media. I've just not had a lot of success here. And Mark Iverson's doing the next presentation. I'm going to sit in on that and see what he has to say. Here's what I've had. This is like the brutal honesty. I probably was wasting I don't know, 10 to 15,000 a month doing this. What we were able to do is through content, through social, Facebook. We did Facebook, Twitter mostly, a little bit with Google+. We were able to drive maybe 60,000 uniques a month. But none of them, we couldn't even get them to really give us their email or sign up for a special offer. We weren't selling from it. We found we were better at driving traffic for things like, Android's great, iOS sucks, and that article would be retweeted all over the place. We get a lot of people coming back, it was nice, but we weren't making money from it. Now I know there are definitely more targeted strategies we could do around specific products. One of my problems with social is where I see it. I had a great conversation last night. It works really well with music where people really care. Sometimes for software products, people don't care that much. It's sort of like, people aren't tweeting a lot about a hammer or a screwdriver. And that's the way they see certain software products. It's just a tool that they're using. So it's interesting. I do think it's a great way to communicate with your users. We still keep it going. We'll put articles up. If there's something interesting, we'll put it out there. We are not nearly as active as we were at one time where we were doing this on a daily basis. Now it's like we'll put out an offer, company news, maybe a neat article we think is useful. So we're keeping it going, but I haven't figured out how to monetize that one really well. The good things that I found with it, it definitely helps with SEO. Okay, now, before I stop talking, which I know will bring great happiness to the room, a couple things. The first one is don't panic, just like they said in Hitchhiker's Guide. You don't have to do everything. Okay, what I tried to do here, I could have done sessions on almost every one of those topics, but I wanted to give you guys sort of a quick overview so you can sort of look at it. You don't have to do everything. It's so bizarre, but I've seen companies just doing one thing and making a ton of money. I've seen companies that are doing probably like $4 million a year, and they're just doing PPC. I've seen other companies that have really great SEO properties and SEO strategies for their product, and they may not be doing quite the volume, but they're really profitable because they're not paying for that marketing. They put it together and they've done great things. The same, other companies have really targeted the download sites. They'll do advertising on it, they have a whole bunch of downloads they push to it, and they've been very successful at pushing their product really just through that channel, and then they get some natural traffic once it's known. So you don't have to do everything. You can look and see which thing seems to fit for you and start trying stuff out. Another thing, leverage partners and affiliates. I'm doing probably 15% of my business with partners and affiliates. It's very interesting. Not only do these guys, they can bring you into new channels, but a lot of times they have this really great expertise. And it depends. There's some of them that are really bad, and most of them won't really do much. I try to work closely with the ones who are really good. And they've taught me a lot, I've taught them a lot. It's really been a very synergetic relationship. So I think partners are really good. It's funny because I work with a couple developers, and my biggest developers, I think I'm 95% of their sales. They're basically just making products for me to sell. And one of them, Russian, is just like, I don't think I like to sell, and you do it very well, it is good. And so you basically have that thing. It's like, it all depends. So his strategy now is like, what do you need? I make product. And that's it. And he has a website where he puts them, but he makes 5% of his sales from it. Don't try to be perfect. This is something that I'm always telling my marketing guys. It's like anything is better than nothing. all right? And you can get so paralyzed by wanting to have the perfect landing page, by wanting to have the perfect email, by wanting to set up the perfect PPC campaign. It's never going to be perfect, okay? The most important thing is to do something and to start getting the data. Because marketing is really a learning process. And the more data you have, the more you market, the better you get at it. It's just a numbers game. And you know, we bet stuff in our company. I always bet beers. This is going to work better than this. This is going to work better. And over time, I get pretty good at it. But man, 1 out of every 5, I'm totally shocked. You know, and if we were really betting money, I could lose a ton of money on some of these because I'm like, there's no way that'll work. Everything I know will tell me it won't, and you try it and it does. So really, in this, don't panic. Love when, you know, I think working with partners can be really good, and don't try to be perfect. Just do something, get started, watch the results, and go. And that's it.